calling Anfield his home. We're talking about none other than Luis Diaz, the tricky winger who's also the first Colombian to wear the famous red shirt of Liverpool. Apart from his pace and trickery on the wing, how much do you know of the winger? Well, worry not, we've done the work for you, and here are 10 things you didn't know about Luis Diaz. While this might not be amusing to many Colombian fans, but Luis Diaz grew up idolizing Brazilian wing wizard and legend Ronaldinho. He has since grown modeling his game on Colombia's rival nation's best player. That's not surprising though. Every kid in South America wanted to play like Ronaldinho, and Diaz was no different. And that could perhaps explain the tricks and flicks on the wings at Liverpool. Colombia fans should not be too upset though, as Diaz enjoyed watching Ronaldinho terrorize defenders while at Barcelona, and not really with the Brazil national team. Can you blame him though? We all loved watching Ronaldinho and that Barcelona team. In fact, in an old interview, he admitted that his dream move was to play for Barcelona to follow in the footsteps of his idol. Anyway, we don't think Colombia fans will be too upset because Diaz turned out to be that good. He has shown that time and again while in the Liverpool shirt, hasn't he? There's something intriguing when it comes to sports stars and nicknames. South Americans in particular tend to be very creative with their nicknames. Remember El Fenomeno, which translates to phenomenon, which was befitting for the great Ronaldo. One more thing. Did you know Ronaldinho has a nickname? Story for another day. Back to Diaz. Lots of footballers around the world have nicknames, and Diaz is no different. The winger has been nicknamed Fido. What's Fido? I know you're wondering. Well, it's the word for noodles in South America. Diaz earned this nickname because when he was younger, he was extremely skinny, like a noodle. He shares the name with former PSG and Argentine star Angel Di Maria. For Diaz, though, he has since stacked on the pounds and the muscles as well since becoming a professional footballer. Into Diaz's personal life for a little bit, let's introduce you to Diaz's girlfriend, Gera Ponce. Unlike most European footballers, Diaz isn't dating a model, influencer, or actress. Instead, he's with his childhood sweetheart, just like Luis Suarez and Sofia, or Lionel Messi and Antonella. And when we talk about childhood sweetheart, we mean exactly that. Diaz has been with Gera since he was 13 years old. The couple has 2 kids together, with the second one arriving in January this year, and Gera is set to be Luis's biggest fan. But if you expect the couple to be lighting up Instagram or other social media platforms and attending red carpet events together, then you're in for a sad surprise. The couple is known to lead a quiet lifestyle centered around their family and away from the media. We all know of football stories where a certain young kid braved through hardships and made it to the top. The examples are countless, and Diaz is no different, and this almost cost him. The winger grew up in one of the poorest regions in Colombia and almost never made it to professional football. In fact, he almost never made it at all. Diaz grew up in a poor family, poor that he almost died of malnutrition as a child. The winger is a member of the Wayuu people, the largest indigenous ethnic group in all of Colombia and Venezuela, and it seems that poverty within the Wayuu people is a difficult truth of life, and Diaz, like thousands of others, rarely got the food or nutrients he needed. He was very skinny and lost the duels with many other players. But despite that, he was able to stand out among 400 candidates and make the 26-man squad. Luckily for him, his football skills began to show, and it was not long afterwards he started to play for Barrancas. It was here that he was put on a diet plan to help him gain weight and some muscle. He soon started reaping the benefits of a professional lifestyle. Perhaps Diaz really idolized Ronaldinho because he could relate to his story. Just like Diaz, Ronaldinho came from nothing and relied purely on his footballing talent to put him and his family out of abject poverty. Diaz was discovered by arguably Colombia's greatest player ever, Carlos Valderrama, the Colombia Maradona. The legendary Colombian star with equally iconic hair was the one who discovered Diaz. In 2015, Luis was among 10 of players who trialed for the Colombian team in preparation for the indigenous Copa America, and Valderrama, who was at the time the coach of the Colombian side, just knew he had to pick him. He at first sight saw the potential of Diaz and knew that he wanted him to be a part of the squad in spite of the fact that he was terribly underweight. He had immediate impact with the team, helping them go all the way to the Copa America finals, and that was the start of his journey to the top. A number of clubs approached him to take him to Europe. He wasn't sure if it was the right decision at the time. After all, he was making a name for himself in his home country and was quickly becoming a celebrity. It took the intervention of Colombian greats Radamel Falcao and James Rodriguez to convince the winger to make a move, as it would be beneficial to his career. And that's how he ended up in Portugal, with Porto, one of the best talent development teams in the world. And as you'd expect, it did not take the winger long to rise towards the top of the Portuguese league. And when that happens, Europe's big boys start to circle. And among them boys who came were Liverpool, and as they say, the rest is history. Something right when you get compared to the very best player in the world in the name of Cristiano Ronaldo. Just go on Google and type in Colombia Cristiano Ronaldo and see whose photos come up. The winger has been dubbed as the Colombian Cristiano Ronaldo thanks to his type of play. Well, they're not talking of the current CR7 who has been scoring loads of goals, but the Ronaldo of 10 years ago, because like the Portuguese, Diaz has some fancy rapid footwork. Step overs, flicks inside out. Diaz can easily put in a blender before blowing past you, leaving you for dead. He might never score as many goals as Ronaldo or even reach half Ronaldo's potential, but his quality and goal scoring ability is never in doubt. Just ask the Liverpool fans. Goal scoring, Diaz is a natural born scorer and he has awards to show for it. The winger helped his country to a third place finish in 2021 Copa America tournament. In addition to that, he showed his prowess in front of goal, ending the tournament as joint top scorer, sharing the golden boot with Argentina's Messi. Of course, no one likes to share credit, but when it's Messi, I believe we can all make an exception, right? Both scored 4 goals each at the tournament, but it took Messi 4 more games to reach that number. That's how good Diaz is when he has a goal in sight. But just imagine being compared to Cristiano while sharing the golden boot with Messi. Don't you think that's a sign from the footballing gods? Diaz could be destined for the top for sure. This might come as a shocker, but before becoming a household name in Portugal and making the move to England, Diaz had the chance to join Cardiff City, and these weren't normal transfer rumours. The Colombian later admitted that while he was still playing in his native country, he signed a pre-contract agreement with Cardiff City, and both parties were keen on making it happen. Zenit St. Petersburg and Brighton had also shown serious interest, but it was Porto who snapped him up, and he followed in the footsteps of Falcao and Rodriguez. Well, sometimes life has a way of being incredibly ironic, and for Diaz, the irony won't have been lost on it. In a weird turn of events, Diaz made his Liverpool debut against his almost former club, Cardiff. And not only did Diaz play against Cardiff, he even assisted a goal, reminding the team of what they could have had. Cool. Lastly, Diaz has been compared to another Portuguese winger, one of the best players the game has ever seen, Luis Figo. That's a big one. The similarities, though, are there. Fast, technical, and full of flair. But what else would you expect after spending a couple of seasons in the Portuguese league? With Sadio Mane gone and Mohamed Salah nearing the end of his time at Liverpool, Diaz is poised to be the next great player. He still has a long way to go to be at par with some of the game's greats, and there's no denying the fact that he is gifted. But there's still more of that mountain to climb. You've seen a lot of Diaz in a Liverpool shirt in recent weeks, months. How far do you think the Colombian Cristiano Ronaldo can go in the Premier League? Let us know in the comments below.